Coming to you live from our studios 48 Wanika Street at the Olympia, Accra, Ghana. This is Pan-African Television News with me, Ivy. Abena, Dede, Narki-Teye. We are live across 46 African countries and some part of Europe. And we are live on Facebook at the moment at Pan-African Television. Top of the headlines. The University Teachers Association of Ghana, UTAG, is embarking on an indefinite strike action starting today over poor conditions of service. Also coming up, Concerned Drivers Association of Ghana has announced a 40% increment in transport fares effective Monday, January 17, 2022. Guta President Dr. Joseph Abena has spoken. We have details of stories and many more, including stories in the world of business, sports, international and entertainment coming up in the next 1 hour. Don't go anywhere. Thanks for choosing to stay with us. If you just tuned in, this is Pan-African Television News with me, Ivy, Abena, Dede, Narki-Teye. Now let's begin with our first story. The University Teachers Association of Ghana, UTAG, has withdrawn teaching and related activities over government refusal to adhere to the agreed timeline following a response from the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission to their earlier communique dated November 11, 2021.
It can be recalled that on October 6, 2021, the University Teachers Association of Ghana negotiation team, at a meeting with government representatives, signed a memorandum of agreement to accept, among others, a research allowance of $1,600 payable in 2024. And a proposal for government to complete a labor market survey report to determine the review of the interim market premium by December 2021 for implementation in 2022. Subsequently, a communique issued by the body on December 17, 2021 indicated that the UG-UTAG chapter and 6 other campuses formally submitted written resolutions to reject the memorandum of understanding reached between government and the negotiation team of the University Teachers Association of Ghana. Meanwhile, a recent communique issued by the association indicates that an earlier request for a copy of the report of the 2021 Labour Market Survey and its implementation within a stipulated time frame from the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission has still not been fulfilled. According to the communique, a meeting held by the members of the association exception to the response from the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission, which suggested its unwillingness to release a copy of the report to UTAG for them to determine their next line of action. The association further threatened to.
Meanwhile, the General Secretary of the University Teachers Association of Ghana, UPSA, Chapter Dr. Abena Kailan Abdul Hamid, has apportioned blame to the government for its failure in addressing their grievances. According to him, it's high time government took them seriously since they are of significance to the development of the nation.
All right, so we've started this issue since last year. If you remember, somewhere in November, we're going to go on strike, and then we called it off. So for us to understand the issue, we must go back to what happened last year.
Okay.
First of all, we went on strike last year requesting government to improve on our conditions of service. And 2 issues came up from the conversation. One was the labor market survey that government claimed they were currently finishing. Then the other was our basic salary. So with our basic salary, government said that because of single spine and other legal issues, they couldn't handle anything about it. And for our market premium, we had to be patient. Somewhere in November, they would have concluded with the labor market survey, and we would get some improvements if the report says they should improve our salaries. So we signed an MOA, if you remember that, in November. And the MOA clearly indicated that these are the milestones. By end of November, we'll complete the labor market survey and we all implement it by January and see how it goes. So we said, okay, we'll call off our strike. Then December, we asked government, where is the labor market survey? No response. January, we came out with a news item that we are going on strike on the 10th of January. Only for government to invite us to a meeting last week, Thursday on the 6th, through the Fair Wages Commission. And then we're presented with the labor market survey. Members can ask for this report and read. Nowhere in this entire document does government clearly says that UTAC, because you are scarce, the number of the job you do is important among others, this is the rate we are going to pay you. There's no recommendation in the entire document like that. Again, as of now, government hasn't issued any white paper or document to make this report a legal binding document so that we as leaders and our members to some extent will be happy with the progress of implementation of this labor market survey. Mind you, the labor market survey was even a 2019 document. So if you look at the report they gave to us, it's labor market survey 2019 but published in 2020. So 2 years down the line. So we are going on strike now, asking government for one thing. And that thing is that in 2013, our labor market, the labor market survey that was done recommended that UTAC or university teachers should be put on a market premium of 114% of their basic.
Okay.
So we're asking government, look, send us back to 114% of our basic, because we are aware in 2016 under President Mahama, a white paper was issued and they freezed it. So every year, this 114% of our basic, we didn't have that again because it was freezed after that time. So we are saying that just take us back to that. Calculate 114% of our basic and give it to us at our current labor market premium until you finish your calculations and whatever you want to do. So this is a background to our strike.
What has been the attitude of government in all of this?
Sorry, the question?
What has been the attitude of government in all of, yeah?
It's clear. Government is not taking us serious, and we feel the government is not respecting us. And we are university dons, and all of them were taught by us. And sometimes we think that they should begin to take us serious because we are significant contributors to national development, which we are doing our part.
Away from that, Concerned Drivers Association of Ghana has announced a 40% increment in transport fares across the country started from Monday, January 17, 2022. In a press release dated January 10, the association noted that the upward adjustment has been necessitated by the unbearable hardships facing their drivers currently.
According to the statement, the association commiserates with Ghanaians on the current economic hardship, but in order to keep its members in business, it is left with no other option but to adjust transport fares a little upward. Concerned Drivers Association of Ghana stated that the increment is influenced by a number of factors, including the price of fuel at the pumps, increment in the prices of vehicles, spare parts, as well as lubricant. The statement further added that although members of the association are also bearing the brunt of the current economic hardships, it has become necessary to increase the fares since prices of some basic commodities, including sachet water, have all seen some upward adjustment. The association urged Ghanaians to embrace the new transport fares when it takes effect from Monday, January 17, 2022. They also appeal to Ghanaians to avoid fighting drivers and their conductors when the new fares are implemented.
Now, let me take you through the press statement released by the Concerned Drivers Association of Ghana. And the headline says, for immediate release January 10, 2022, to all media houses, Concerned Drivers Association of Ghana, CDAG, a notice of 40% increment in transport fares. We hereby communicate to Ghanaians to prepare for an upward adjustment of transport fares in the country with effect from Monday, January 17, 2022. The increment, even though cannot bring an ultimate comfort, can only ameliorate the unbearable hardships facing drivers currently. It must be noted that we commiserate with Ghanaians on the current economic hardship, but in order to keep us in business, we are left with no other option but to adjust transport fares a little upward, which is a 40% increment. Our resolve is inspired by the following factors, which are: 1 says, price of fuel commodities at the pumps of the various oil marketing companies. Ghanaians agree with us that fuel commodities have seen a consistent upward increment and will even soon see another increment, as predicted by the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers (COPEC). It will be recalled that a little over a month ago, drivers nationwide embarked on a sit-down strike, which negatively affected commuters. Even though the Chief of Staff, Fremont Seopare, on behalf of government, met with driver unions and promised a reduction of the prices of petrol, but unfortunately that promise has not materialized. We are rather witnessing a consistent increment. Sadly, the government has blatantly refused to waive of the tax components on the petrol prices even. 2 says, increment of prices of vehicles. The prices of cars continue to increase on daily basis due to high duty rates at the port. This situation makes it difficult to defray the cost of vehicles, causing car owners to increase daily sales of drivers. In the end, drivers work virtually for nothing. And 3 says, increments of spare parts and lubricants. The prices of spare parts have also witnessed an upward increment, coupled with poor roads in the country. Drivers are heavily burdened as we have to rapidly change vehicle parts. Our partners, mechanics who replace these parts, have also increased via service charges. Essential engine parts and lubricants have also had their prices increased. For instance, a 4.5 litre engine lubricant, which used to sell at 65 Ghana cedis, is now sold at 110 Ghana cedis. It must be noted that we also experience the economic conditions of the country. It has become extremely difficult for us to manage our homes, as prices of basic commodities, including sachet water, have also seen an upward increment. And in view of this, we urge Ghanaians to side with us when the increment of transport fares take effect from Monday, January 17, 2022. We strongly encourage Ghanaians to avoid fighting drivers and vehicle conductors when the new fares are implemented, and contact Pawili, National Chairman, and David Agbuado, PRO, Concerned Drivers Association of Ghana. So that was the press release the press statement released to all media houses by the Concerned Drivers Association of Ghana with regards to the 40% increment of transport fares effective next week, Monday, 17th January 2022. Now, on the next story, some residents in the OT region are crying over the deplorable state of the main road that links the Upper East region to the country's capital, Accra. Now, according to them, farm produce worth thousands of cedis is lost regularly on the road, contributing to the economic hardship of farmers, coupled with difficulties pregnant women go through during labor due to the unmotorable nature of the roads.
Of poor road network. Residents in the region are lamenting over how they are bedeviled with myriads of problems. According to them, due to the deplorable nature of the main road that links the Upper East region to the country's capital, many people in the region have lost their lives through accidents. Farmers, market women and men are complaining bitterly about how vehicles that convey their farm produce struggle to get to the national capital. In some cases, they get broken down, leading to traffic congestion, which results in accidents. The worst part of their woes is the transportation of pregnant women to health facilities during labor. Some give up on their way to the hospital, losing either the baby or both the baby and their precious lives. Some farmers explain how devastating it is for them to ply the roads.
Etimima kasen kase omolodi bayere kwa manena no maneno emakano bebre hwiha na say amafo pa nti enenti ema kas bebre nsamfa ha ema ahunchire abaye akoyafo ni won aye didwa ensantimi osuro say ofruka no fa kwena du behwe ana ebe ma accident be abawoso nti yade a asaya ma hu say etimima enti kumpo ma wa ha say afida no so je fa bru wa ha pa ena medikwena fam wo kumo se na kas nketu no etimi fa kwena se kwa nti we no ena ma ho kira me ma ho kwena so patwan ma nkomfo bebra hwe mo kwan wo abomba ya ha ya mu ena wa ha na ye timu motos accident nkomfo bebre na wo ha ena friend say VIP ena omunam ha no say na mentimi say government na ma mo ye kweno kakra no dim da tatuma ka no ba na achi no atwako fom anim no so akotwoke na aja mfini ne no nka fom e ma ka no abalance na ahwe nti e ma driver for bebre ahwe mo kwa ha pa
samba mo ki say ka nge ne satafara achu ni sala wanchu ajumu yi sanwanchu anga chichi hanwanchu inse maka ngamu nemu ne sangana tiki abu insa ya mu basaki aben kwikitite nlanga buka tumu banchu ya lefurin sa ya buya una adun kuraka nla ya to na nyin nlanga bu pato buya ne saki ne ngasren tinmangba ko salba mu kitite membedu ya temu salman chu baka sanga kana ni se kare uyida atlangun ta kanga kitin ya kanga kitita unga kitita halan bot chu mpanki baka wangaru ko mo begana amana mu ya tinye yin ko yidal ki kana ko langa kitten ga nma ketero ko nje kanga kana tira sakinu nubu mu ya no ko ya kala ma kanga kitina na kala man girkita baki baka nan kana ka gane galanga salmu kitita memberu ya.
A resident also revealed that, aside the bad road network, potable water for domestic use is another problem they face.
To me, Dabe kura bia be hwase wa hase. Nti nsuo nti yenya kwempapa. Akofaro nso o menya maye. Oso wonto aso ye be yande. Be 2019 mu efako.
Okay.
Dogo gitu ase ye ni nsuo papa wa ha ena ekwan so nye nti nke nyambe ya adomodia na wa be ye ekwan na amaye na wa me ye nsuo nso.
The residents are urging government to come to their aid.
Traders at Kwame Nkrumah Circle, a commercially vibrant business hub sited in Accra, have expressed worry over poor sanitation. According to them, the situation, which has been left unattended to for a long time, should be addressed immediately.
Circle is a viable business hub sited close to Adabraka and not too far from Kwame Nkrumah interchange. The area also serves as a major transit point for travelers navigating not just Accra but the entire country. Government announced its readiness and preparedness to make Accra the cleanest city in Africa with the rollout of Let's Make Accra Work initiative. In spite of this, most parts of the capital are littered with filth, an exceedingly worrying situation which requires urgent attention. Some traders who spoke to Pan-African News complain bitterly of poor sanitation, which has inconvenienced them for far too long, and appealed for assistance from the government.
Na asema mu bisane de wo de toto first ne sisia de a am say sia na ye kakra bi maybe say bola no first na etimi kua e ma ne chepa ansa no ma besa because say ebe bo ba match be 5 no almost start esa na problem I want say eche ayana almost sa omo de kwa omu ana yasa ye kakra bia begu na mum na ayana gu ache kakra etika de be se ne say omo ma omo na nya ntie ase de be bola ne ebegu a enche no ma be sako
the from years eba abapim sembre ensakra bia mai and say no prahano ya wa da bola tinugua sa ba time okwa na inside me pra bola gua do ka ba faro ye nabi pa bet na gua sa and da bia ka urama etitekitwa ka pia etitekitwa te bisa sai bola hu take it ama oto ade take it e twa anis ka etua mo no akwa ban ho se wo de sabola anasa nkwa ban ho se wo fan sabola yanti ase wa hanam kakre ebiamso azaka bia mai dada na bola gu fititi bapum se anoa ya bransa na bola ni asesa ando buza bola ho asam dia no pra de bola dia adoso no pra bola wa hapapa ase ka anasam ketwa
ye ahunidie no nyame adoma ye kakra eyesi yi ye ka ahunidie kasake de ha de eti kakra asom tam edu bebi a aye obi won ma wo twema na waje bibia to ko kasa on fa na da ne asem ye mefo so me pra ha eja ye ha hye ye no na ma ya ba ha na ye se ensiesie ha nti ye ya fatu ye nso adopa bia ye den ye pra ha no se neat nti ha de awon fama ne de nyame adoma ha de ye tamane ye wo inside ho no na ye de ye bibia to de be ho ye neat pa ye ka neatness akasa ka de na ko do na de best ye ne best nti ye se ni ne no ye so say abeti go tell mu nyame adom nsuo na ye to no ye say ye sorry a ye ba ham say ntimi hwe aka wo say esiesie ha so what you say utre fi mu ton ade a enye nti wo say esiesie ha kama asan ya den atra ha ton ade nti ahonidie de say ka de say wa ko to ani a wo say bola ngu bebi basa ye esiesie ha kama say ye buwa na ahonidie na wo kama asan de ba kan won wa ka o ba ye nso wo say eso ye buwa no so what de me ka na say obeyi me for some better na wo so o ma pray we na the bibi to na yes a wo moa di wo so bebi a wo na wo so take my hoye clean what you say na yes we bo aban na bibi atimi ye den eye fe.
Some traders and commuters at Tama Station cited in the Kole-Klote constituency have bemoaned poor sanitation within the facility. Now they are, however, pleading with government to address the situation as a matter of urgency.
Management of sanitation has been a critical issue for the traders and commuters at the entry and exit point of the lorry station. The improper disposal of refuse has also contributed to the canker, which has drawn attention from a section of the media and triggered widespread criticism. When our news team toured the facility, some traders and commuters took turns to share their views on the exceedingly worrying issue. A sanitation officer at the station, Efo, expressed worry over the situation and intimated that he will embark on a protest with other aggrieved persons if the matter is left unattended to.
You want to say, yeah, you say a call regional minister because you say regional minister be Musa Bala we are on Fenche. And you say about regional minister, but you come on an Ancasano, Nancy on Tia Point to Woma. But many driver phoning in Acasa, driver for such some person made demonstration. It's here a MC because MC no Nadia Jumanis obey. And I start 1 year. Now, when it's a moment to take it to no mouse and a Sansa Sabolano. He says, no plan basis and Omsi Debbie, and I know here Bolano, so my pam never went to say, and you fall and you control.
Food vendor and 2 others also shared similar concerns.
This to the Tama station after loading. After loading, this is the place that you pass to get out. Yes, and right now the bola is coming to block the road. And even the people selling around here, like as you can see, we sell food over here. Yes, we feel the house flies and the smelling of the bola and everything. It comes over here. The woman over here can't even sell stuffs. So we are begging. They should come and clear off the bola from the road. And at least every week, every empty concourse of the bola have to be empty.
Yes. I know I come for more than 20 years, and now 20 something. said the identity and Museno. One say, I had him a center. And can't say you who bought a cent. And so, Uncle and ticket to Grandpa, and come young cashew, they be out your ticket. They be almost yeah, pray and a pay crumple, or my better crumple, among young badges campo. Wow. So, Papa said, ball and inti. Who can say ball and intia? Omo wuntia, omuntia, so omo do number office. And today be a
the baller is worrying us because at times, as at now, the baller is full. And there's nothing going on like coming and taking it. No. Right now, if there's a rainfall, this baller, what is called the water inside spread here. Oh, we people here cannot eat, cannot even breathe well because of this baller. And at the end of the day too, I see that people will come around taking money from people, and then at the end, the money, they won't use it to come and take this refuge here, and they will leave it like that. Every day, people are dumping, adding baller to it. We people here is worrying us, and we don't know. They want to run and go and, tell him, Master, this thing is worrying us, and everybody is looking at it.
Yesterday marked the birthday of Ahmed Sekou Toure, architect of Guinea's independence and the country's first president. Now, our news desk profiles the Pan-Africanist who also spearheaded efforts to liberate Africa from the canker of colonialism and imperialism.
Ahmed Sekou Toure was born on January 9, 1922 to Alpha and Aminata Toure, both subsistence farmers in Farana. An aristocratic member of the Mandinka ethnic group, he attended the École Coranique in his hometown and later a French lower primary school in Kankan. After devoting himself to lifelong learning, he studied teachings of Malcolm X, Taekwondo. He studied teachings of Karl Marx, Vladimir Lenin, and attended the George Poire Technical College in Conakry, but was later expelled for leading a student protest. He later worked as a postal clerk and developed close connections with the French General Confederation of Labour. His next foray was the nasty and adversarial game of politics, which saw him elected as Guinea's deputy to the French National Assembly and later served as mayor of Conakry. A fierce critic of French colonial rule, he co-founded the Democratic Party of Guinea, intensified the struggle for independence, and later became president on October 2, 1958. A recipient of the Lenin Peace Prize in 1961, he adopted Marxism by nationalizing foreign companies and centralizing economic plans. Under his tenure, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah became co-president on March 3, 1966. He also played an integral role in the formation of the All-African People's Revolutionary Party and forged ties with Malcolm X and Stokely Carmichael. Re-elected and opposed in 1968, 1974, and 1982, he died of an apparent heart attack on March 26, 1984, after undergoing cardiac treatment for emergency heart surgery. His famous quote, "Guinea prefers poverty in freedom to riches in slavery," still resonates in our ears.
Well, that's all on our local front. But coming up in business, Guta President Dr. Joseph Obin speaks. We'll bring you details of that after the short break.
African Center for Capacity Building, AFCA, organizes the following executive and advanced certificate programs like Executive Certificate in Project Management, Executive Certificate in Human Resource Management, Executive Certificate in Real Estate and Property Management, Executive Certificate in Data and Records Keeping, Executive Certificate in Monitoring and Evaluation, Executive Certificate in Logistics and Transport Management, Executive Certificate in CCTV Monitoring and Installation. AFCA, where capacity building is our priority. For registration and enquiries, please call 0244 405047, 0242 135523. We have our branches in Accra, Tamale, Kumasi, and Wa. Saturdays and weekdays sessions are available. Admission is still in progress. Enroll now. Join the African professionals. AFCAP, where capacity building is our priority.
Oh, it's incredible! Bang on target!
Hello? Okay, wait a minute. Why? My wife comes and send a message. Hello? What's happened?
It's a chunk who's will be a quiet say what? I dare say,
besides from a friend, I'm so years. You have not testing messages here, and our officer, so I'm trying to tell you, she says, I
mean, so we a guy manu, and may young who could look cry. And also wants a family drilling company limited for Kana.
What's it then? Family Drilling Company Limited.
Ye two borehole, biofuel, biogas, swimming pool, plumbing works in Naso, ye be, Frey 0240-333-111, and Nasa 0244-144-822.
Miampa and you want swimming pool, me see. Me want to, we'll be here. Family Drilling, family Drilling.
The first is your last set.
Me out with that.
Welcome back. Let's do business. President of the Ghana Union of Traders Association, GUTA, Dr. Joseph Obin, has intimated that complaints made by importers concerning high charges on import duties necessitated the introduction of the benchmark policy. In a conversation with Kwesi Pratt Jr. on Pan-African Television's Talk Time, he noted that prior to the introduction of the policy, there were high duty charges levied on import goods at the port, so the benchmark value subsidized them and also generated revenue for the country.
Past, the complaints of the importer was duty boarding. We can't pay duty. Duty is collapsing our businesses. Our brothers and sisters in abroad will say when we bring goods from abroad, the price is very small, but the duty that we pay surpasses even the product that we bought and all that. That was the major complaint, if you recall. And so it was becoming very unbearable. So we have to go and appeal to the Council of State that if care is not taken, we are being uncompetitive in the sub-region. Because why is it that we go to Togo, which is a small country, we have bigger importers here. We go to Togo and buy imported goods. We do not go there to buy manufactured goods. Togo is not a manufacturing hub. Because cost of doing business in Togo is far cheaper. We again go to Nigeria, sometimes we go to Cote d'Ivoire. We are losing out of business to these our sub-regional neighbors. And so the duty has become very unbearable. Then we put the figures on the table. So the members of the council said, is this what we have to contend with? They said, yes. Master President, if you give me the opportunity to give you some illustration.
You have all the opportunities, sir.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
We have duty, about 3 sets of duty, maybe some of them 5%, 20%, 35%. But predominantly they are 20% and 35%. 20% for items like electrical products, hardware products, and the rest. And then we have 35% for tin tomatoes and some of the food commodities. And so if you are your product is dutable of 20%, cumulatively, because they will have to charge you the duty on your invoice import value. After charging it, then they compound it before they put it together to the invoice value, before they charge the VAT. And then they add the other levies that have lined up at the port, about 18 of them. That cumulates to about 15%. So cumulatively, an item that attracts 20% duty cumulates to 55%. And then that of the 35% also cumulates to 65%.
Well, coming up next is international news. Let's do some international news. NewsClick's Prabal Pakayasta talks about the wave of protests in Kazakhstan, its trajectory and the various forces of play. He also situates this in the context of regional configurations and the recent geopolitical crisis.
This week, the news has all been about Kazakhstan, where massive protests have broken out over the past few days. The situation is still very much in a flux, of course. To go through it quickly, we know that the protests broke out after price controls were withdrawn from liquefied petroleum gas, which is very important for people there because they use it to run their cars. The protests, of course, broke out in the oil-rich Mangistau region, province in the west, then spread to Almaty, which is one of the major cities. Over time, it also seemed that a variety of other groups also entered into this protest. There was a lot of violence, looting of public buildings. The latest updates seem to be that some amount of order has been restored. President Kasim Tokayev was forced to sack the government, restore some of the price controls. At the same time, he has also made it very clear that he believes that this is an organized group which is working to destabilize the government. And of course, the CSTO, which is the regional organization, peacekeepers have been sent in. So we have with us Prabir Purkayasa to talk more about this. Prabir, first of all, your quick take on the situation on the ground based on what reports you received as well, and the significance of Kazakhstan.
You know, Kazakhstan, as you've already said, is an oil-rich place, produces, I think, about 2% of the world's oil, which is not an insignificant amount. It is also the largest producer of uranium in the world. So for energy purposes, this is obviously a very important part of the world. It's also in Central Asia, one of the places which has been very stable. Nur Sultan Nazarbayev, who led it for 30 years, he was earlier the Communist Party head of Kazakhstan governorate. So he has had control over Kazakhstan, which has been always questioned, that how much of it is really an oligarchic control, or how much does it have the sanction of the people. And obviously 30 years is a very, very long time. It's possible that there are opinions, there are strong opinions on his continued grabbing of power, retention of power, which he still is supposed to do behind the scenes. And of course, the fact that Kazakhstan has also pursued open policies with respect to import of capital, both in terms of the Chevron running its major oil fields, and also other oil majors being in Kazakhstan. So Kazakhstan has a lot of strategic importance, being, of course, central to the Belt Road Initiative as well as a major source of hydrocarbons. It has also a lot more of reserves of oil. So in that, oil and, as you said, petroleum gas. So as you said, this is something which is difficult at first step to really understand in the context of what we've been discussing. Is it a part of a color revolution? Is it just a part of an order which had continued for a very long time and people wanting something different? Is it because of the gas prices going up, which it did? It more than doubled, which is, I think, for any government, a very, very drastic step to take. So are all of this contributing to something which is feeding into a larger political issue, which is how to see that if NATO and its allies can intervene in Central Asia. Having lost the prop of Afghanistan, US and its allies are wanting to see how it can enter Central Asia. So one should not be surprised if they're behind what we see as Kazakhstan unrest. There are also organized forces in which NATO is also, or the US is also a tacit partner, if not an explicit one. So all of these are open conjectures. We don't know what it is. But we do know from what little we have seen of the visuals that arms were distributed fairly openly. There were cars going around distributing arms. The people who used the arms appear to have known the arms would be dropped, where they would be dropped. There was some kind of an organized resistance which was being coordinated. Mukhtar Ablayazov, who was a former banker, minister, who fled the country after having stolen from the bank which he was heading billions of dollars, he has claimed that all of this being orchestrated by him, which might be an exaggeration, but his fingerprints could nevertheless be here. He does seem to have given calls. There again, various notifications appearing. One of them, strangely enough, from the US Embassy, which actually foregrounds the calls that he has made before the date. So it does seem that there were also organized forces behind some of these events. So what others have been saying, including the government of Kazakhstan, that this is an attempt to destabilize Kazakhstan and also to break it from its current trajectory, which is a part of the larger constellation of forces who want to build the bridge road, who want to be a part of the Belt Road Initiative, and the larger Eurasian economic developments that are taking place, a common Eurasian market, of course, in which both Russia and China are big players. So it does seem that this is not simply an outburst of people's anger. There are forces which have been there, which have tried to move it in different directions. 18 policemen have died, and one of them apparently had his head chopped off. Now that also would seem to indicate the people in this are not purely normal people protesting about the price rise. There is an organized force or organized forces which have moved in, and what they represent we still do not know. Let's hope that in the coming days we'll get a clearer picture of this.
So Prabir, like you said, of course, Kazakhstan playing a very important role in the region because of its size, because of the mineral resources it has. And also immediately after the protest, at least a few days after the protest broke out, President Tokayev invoked the clause whereby the Collective Security Treaty Organization, the CSTO, he asked for peacekeepers, and I believe around 2,500 peacekeepers are on their way. Many of them have already reached. Some of them apparently played a role in taking back the Almaty airport from those who had occupied it. So now a lot of this is also being seen in terms of
Credit goes to our international partners. The People's Experts. Coming up is sports.
it's incredible. Bang on target.
Hello? Okay, why? He, my wife comes and send a message you. No, she's not on free. Hello? I didn't know, what's happened?
It's your chance, but also be a quiet say what? I did say,
we signed for a fair. I'm so young. My wife's not testing messages here. And our officer, so I'm trying to tell you, man. She says, I
mean, so we a guy, Manu, and may young who could look cry. And also wants a family drilling company limited for Kana.
What's it then? Family Drilling Company Limited.
Ye two borehole, biofuel, biogas, swimming pool, plumbing works in Naso, ye be, Frey 0240 333 111, and Nasa 0244 144 822.
Miampa and you want to do me see? Me want to, will be BA. Family Drilling now. Family Drilling.
The first is your last set.
Me out with that shit.
Sports, Kumasi Asante Kotoko are now top of the table after defeating Ashanti Gold in week 12 of the Ghana Premier League. Here is a comprehensive report on all the matches that took place last weekend.
Proved superior over regional rivals Ashanti Gold SC following an emphatic 3-1 victory in the Ashanti Derby at the Baba Yara Stadium in Kumasi yesterday. The massive victory takes the Porcupine Warriors to the apex of the league standings as they open a 3-point advantage against King Faisal Babes and 9 over Hartlepool. A hat-trick from Cameroonian youngster Mbella Etuga Frank Thierry ensured the fabulous lads claimed the sweet victory. In other games, Hartlepool returned to winning ways with an impressive 1-0 win over Bibiani Gold Stars at the Dance Park. Struggling Legon Cities recorded an all-important 1-0 over Dreams FC at the Theatre of Dreams. At the Ohini Amayal Park, Techeman 11 Wonders shocked high-flying King Faisal with a 2-0 win to halt their winning streak. Adriana Stars, who travelled to the Indum Sports Complex, deepened the woes of Elmina Sharks with a 1-0 win. Accra Great Olympics and Karela United shared the spoils at the Accra Sports Stadium. Bechem United beat Real Tamale United 2-0 at the Nana Fusu Jabo Park. Brekum Chelsea frustrated Mediama SC at the Akun Park in a 1-1 stalemate. Accra Lions drew goalless with Wafa at the Accra Sports Stadium on Saturday. Asante Kotoko sits top of the league log with 26 points, with Adriana Stars sitting second with 23 points. Ashanti Gold, Wafa, and Elmina Sharks sit in the relegation zone.
The 2021 Africa Cup of Nations in Cameroon got off to a great start for the host as the indomitable Lions, inspired by Captain Vincent Abubakar, and a 2-1 come from behind win against Burkina Faso in Yaoundé as Cape Verde claimed a key victory to open the Africa Cup of Nations campaign, defeating Group A rivals Ethiopia 1-0.
The Cameroonians were stand at the Paul Biya Stadium midway through the first half as Burkina took the lead thanks to an acrobatic volley by Gustavo Sangare after goalkeeper Andre Onane's howler. But the indomitable Lions fought back, benefiting from the first VAR decision at this year's competition as they were awarded a penalty. Abubakar converted expertly to draw Cameroon level before giving them the lead with another penalty in the closing stages of the first half. After the restart, Onana kept out an ambitious long-range free kick from Traore and then denied Cyril Bayala from close range. Abubakar was unlucky in the second half as a tight VAR offside call denied him a hat-trick. Meanwhile, Zambo Anguissa fired narrowly wide as the indomitable Lions looked to put the game to bed. Ethiopia suffered a major blow early on when defender Yared Baye was sent off for a foul on Tavares, initially deemed only a yellow card offence by referee Helder Martins de Cavallo. A VAR review saw the official change his mind and swapped the caution for a full dismissal in the 12th minute. The Ethiopia keeper made notable saves in the game, reacting well after seeing Kenny Rocha Santos' long-range shot late through a crowded penalty area and palming the ball away to safety. The half looked set to end goalless, but the Blue Sharks claimed the lead in injury time before the break. Rodriguez was picked out by a deep lofted cross from the left and provided a cushioned volley back across the face of goal to find Julio Tavares, who headed home from close range to see his side 1-0 up heading into the change rooms. The teams will be back in Group A action on Thursday, January 13, with Ethiopia facing host Cameroon and Cape Verde battling Burkina Faso, both at the Olembe Stadium.
It is a clash of two African heavyweights in Group C of the Africa Cup of Nations as Morocco square off against Ghana at the Stade Amadou Ahidjo today. Now the Black Stars will be seeking their 5th title, while the Atlas Lions will be looking to end their 45-year wait for the Continental Crown following their 1976 triumph.
Morocco enjoyed a sensational qualifying journey where they finished at the top of Group E to secure smooth entry into the group stages of the tournament. The Atlas Lions were one of 8 sides to go unbeaten in the qualifiers, winning 4 and drawing 2 to amass 14 points, 5 points ahead of runners-up Mauritania. Morocco head into today's game on the back of a quarter-final exit from the Arab Cup as they were beaten on penalties by eventual winners Algeria following a 2-2 draw after extra time. Morocco will now look to make up for the Arab Cup woes and secure the continental crown, and 3 points against fellow group favourites Ghana will be a dream start for the one-time African champion. Ghana, on the other hand, head into Cameroon as the 3rd most successful nation at the tournament, claiming the Africa Cup of Nations titles on 4 different occasions. However, the Black Stars last conquered the continent 4 decades ago when they saw off host nation Libya on penalties following a 1-1 draw after extra time back in 1982. While they have made it to 3 different finals since then, they have fallen short on each occasion, with their most recent shortcoming being in 2015 when they lost on penalties at the hands of Ivory Coast. Ghana secured their place in this year's edition of the tournament following an impressive qualifying run where they won 4, drew 1 and lost 1 to collect 13 points from 6 games to finish top of Group C. Milovan Rajevac, speaking at a presser, indicated that his team can end the 40-year trophy drought and believes his team has what it takes to make Ghanaians happy. Ghana and Morocco have met 3 times previously at the Africa Cup of Nations, all in group phase. Their head-to-head record is perfectly balanced, with 1 win .
Entertainment news is next. Festivals are celebrated in our communities for a wide variety of reasons which resonate with traditional beliefs and practices. Now today on our showbiz segment, let's take a look at the Ojua Festival.
The Equiapim Ojura Festival
was initiated by the 19th Ukuapem of Ekropong, Nana Adodankwa I, and was first celebrated in October 1826. Its significance is to celebrate their victory over the invincible Ashanti army during the historic Battle of Katamanso near Dodua on August 7, 1826, and also to cleanse themselves and ask for protection from their gods. Ojira is a time of spiritual cleansing, when the people of Ukuapeman and all who celebrate present themselves anew and pray for protection. Traditionally, the timing of the festival also coincides with the harvest season, when there is abundance of food, during which the time the people give to the ancestors. Being a yam festival, gratitude for the harvest is especially expressed in the feeding the ancestors. During the festival, bowls of mashed yam, which have been specially prepared by the Ukuapem Hene and other two occupants, are carried in procession from the Ahimfi to feed the ancestors at Insorem. A little known fact is, the Ojira festival is also celebrated by the Ga people of Jamestown in the greater Accra region of Ghana as a result of their long association with the Akans through intermarriages. Ojira festival is a week-long series of traditions and rituals performed to purify the town, the people, and most importantly, the ancestral tools of the chiefs. It is also a festival to celebrate the harvest of new yams. 6 weeks prior to the occasion, some activities are forbidden and hefty fines or serious punishments are given to people who violate this ban. Some of these activities include no loud music, no drumming, no whistling after dark, and most of all, no eating of yams. Ojira festival is broken into 6 days, and each day has a significance and a purpose. This starts from Monday and ends on Sunday. Below is a breakdown of what actually happens on each day. Monday, men from the 3 royal families in the town go and clear the path to the ancestral burial grounds. This is the sacred cemetery, or Amamprobi. This is done to let them know they are invited to join in the festival. Tuesday in the morning, the men from the royal family return to the sacred cemetery to get the ancestors' permission to perform the festival. As they return, guarded by the executioners, or abrafo, chanting and firing guns, the entire village gather along the streets and cheer these men. A message is given to the chief that the festival can proceed. The ban of the activities mentioned above are lifted. Yams can now be enjoyed. This day is splitting of the new yam, and there's a lot of merrymaking.
Well, that's all for this afternoon. Let's do a recap of our headlines. The University Teachers Association of Ghana, UTAG, is embarking on an indefinite strike action starting today over poor conditions of service. Concerned Drivers Association of Ghana has announced a 40% increment in transport fares effective Monday, January 17, 2022. UTA President Dr. Joseph Obin has spoken. We brought you details of these stories live from our studios here, 48 Swanika Street, Abelempe, Accra, Ghana. Follow us on all social media platforms, on Facebook at Pan African Television, on Instagram at Pan African Television, and on Twitter at Pan African Television. Now to our Black Stars, we know you have worked so much, and we will be looking forward for your victory. Make us proud tonight. My name, Ivy Abena, Dede, Narki-Teye. Do enjoy the rest of our programs.
Hello? Okay, why? My wife comes and send a message. Hello? What's happened?
It's a chance, but also be a quiet, say, what? I did say,
I'm so